Back to the federal government's call for the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates, and as we've heard, the Prime Minister believes the RBA will have plenty of room to reduce rates when the government produces a budget surplus next month. And that's reopened the debate about whether the surplus will harm economic growth. AMP Capital Investors Chief Economist Shane Oliver says a surplus is needed, regardless of whether it happens this year or next.
Even though the Australian economy is going through some tougher times lately, the unemployment rate is still very low, and we should be putting more money aside for a rainy day, for if things do really turn sour down the track. The global economy is still very risky, big issues in Europe, uncertainty to some degree about China and the US. In that backdrop, against that backdrop, I think we should be heading towards a surplus, just to make sure that we're putting money aside for a rainy day, so that if we do get a rerun of the GFC a few years down the track, the government then will have the ability financially to provide another fiscal stimulus package like we saw back in 2008.
So is the government right in saying that a surplus should produce a rate cut?
There's no direct link, but there is a rough relationship. Obviously, in shifting from a hefty deficit to a small surplus, and that's probably what's in prospect, that will take quite a lot of money out of the economy. Roughly, it's the equivalent, that turnaround is equivalent to taking 2.5% out of the economy, either in the form of higher tax revenue or in the form of reduced government spending. That acts as a brake on economic activity, and therefore, all things being equal, it provides a bit of room for lower interest rates, because the Reserve can feel more confident in cutting rates that it's not going to cause the economy to overheat.
So what do you see happening next month?
Our view is that the Reserve Bank will cut interest rates in May, and that will probably be of the order of 25 basis points or 0.25%, and the banks will pass at least half of that on. So I think home buyers and homeowners will see a reduction in their interest costs. Then, of course, we'll see the budget a week or so later, which will probably maintain that shift back towards a surplus, and will signal that there's been quite a sharp fiscal turnaround in Australia, which I think ultimately will set the scene for more interest rate cuts, possibly with another one coming in June. So I think there is a bit of good news coming down the track for Australian homeowners. Interest rates will come down.
Shane Oliver, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you.